it.
I love it. I love it.
I am so excited for all these topics today.
I am too. I am too.
It was so much fun last week. I was kind of just so excited to get back in here.
I was too, and I thought we got lots of good feedback from people. So,
Almost done uploading all these beautiful slides.
Oh, you're fine. I'm going to finish my espresso here. And for those of you who were jumping in early, this is kind of the pre-show. You're seeing kind of behind the scenes a little bit. So we thought we'd let you guys just get a little peek behind the curtain for 5 minutes or so before we go live at the top of the hour.
Oh, we got our first award, Jason. It says unverified user. I think that's the username, but thank you so much for the high award. We appreciate it.
And I see Mark Pizzo and Eddie and Cynthia. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. And Kathleen, good morning.
You know, Jason, I just realized something I forgot to put in here. And it has to deal with Clubhouse.
Well, we can talk about it.
Yeah, we can. So this is definitely behind the scenes, guys. Eddie, thanks for that Super Heart Award. I started a Today in Travel Clubhouse room based on some of the feedback we got last week, where we can do maybe an evening session each week that's just super casual, where everybody can kind of join in, chat, ask questions. Very open forum, very similar to the the Facebook group, but in essence adding voice into this.
I think that sounds fantastic. Kind of like a Zoom, but just all audio.
Yeah, Zoom, and nobody has to put on their face.
Yes. Which someone made me put on my face this morning. I'm not going to say who it was.
But I think it's the way the world, since we're all Zooming and stuff right now.
Well, look, I don't think Kathleen will mind me throwing her name out here, but Kathleen had a good point. We talked the other day. She goes, "Look, we're all Zoom fatigued, right?" So I agree, right? So I think Clubhouse is cool. We can kind of be in our pajamas. So
judgment-free zone. I know. I always keep makeup in the top drawer of my desk because I've had people that I've been, hotel owners and stuff that have wanted to hop on calls with me, and they're like, "Oh, I hop on Zoom and their camera's on," and it's like, "Oh, let me throw some makeup on real quick." So I always keep mascara, eyeliner, and lipstick in the top drawer.
Something to think about with Clubhouse in the next 30 seconds before we go live or start the show. Clubhouse right now, guys, I see a couple of comments about it, it is iOS only right now. So only, not even like iPad, like it is iPhone only and invite only. So find someone that has a Clubhouse account, and we can send we can send you an invite. But yeah, so it is iPhone only. I mean, but who has an Android these days? Right, Haley? Did you have your iPhone? Like who has? I'm just
so kidding. There it is, Jason. Today in Travel. It's in Clubhouse. If you guys search Today in Travel on Clubhouse, that is where you can find us. I just created it along with Jason and I working on a little logo thing down here.
Perfect. Well, it is top of the hour, Haley. I'm ready to go when you are.
All right. Sounds good. All right, Jason, let's kick off.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, it is Tuesday, March 9th, and it is our Today in Travel show. We're going to bring you all the latest news, updates, good and bad during this global pandemic, and give you some travel hacks, answer some questions, give our professional advice. For those of you who don't know us, we'll do very quick introductions. I am Jason Poole. I am with Cruise Planners, an American Express travel representative. I focus with cruises, all-inclusive resorts, and Europe land packages are kind of my bread and butter, where I like to specialize. And across the virtual aisle from me, we have the lovely Haley with the flair.
Absolutely. So my name's Haley, guys. I own a hospitality company, hotel company called Hospitality with a Flair, and I have a small team there. We specialize in servicing smaller boutique style hotels. We do handle some brands. I've been in the hotel and travel industry for 14 years, worked with over 50 different properties and brands across North America, including Canada and Mexico. And I've been travel blogging for 5 years and kind of like Jason all over, but I truly love cruising. I love Disney. I love Europe. Those are definitely some of my favorite things to talk about.
Awesome.
So, if you guys love this, we encourage you to check this out every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do have a Facebook group. If you go to todayintravel.live, you will be connected there. It's an open forum. Ask questions, post deals, post tips. And of course, as we just announced, our new clubhouse room, Today in Travel. All right, Jason, let's go over today's topics.
So we have quite a few topics to discuss. We're going to start with some good news first. We all need some good news these days. So Thailand is setting its sights on a July 1st opening of the country. That's exciting. So the local authorities there believe July 1 is enough time to get the elderly and high-risk people vaccinated, the frontline workers vaccinated. So anybody you're going to come in contact with at a hotel, taxis, transportation, restaurants, they think that's enough time to get them vaccinated. And they think that's enough time for the people to come into the country to get vaccinated, which will be required. So we talked about that last week. The green passport, if you will, to show you have had a vaccination. So they're submitting it to some government authorities for approval, but it looks very promising. So Haley, when are we going to Thailand?
Not soon enough. I think Thailand is actually playing this very well based on this, because there's a lot of countries that have the concern of, hey, if I open up right now with a green passport, am I going to alienate travelers from my destination that have not had the opportunity to get the vaccine yet? So it kind of, makes it feel less inclusive to just a particular group of people, which I really like. Now, keep in mind, there is a slight caveat to this. Phuket is not included in this July 1. They are going to be more towards October because it's an island. They want to take that time, make sure that island is fully vaccinated, because with it being an island, kind of like we saw in Hawaii and talked about last week, there are limited hospital beds, limited resources. So keep that in mind. But I'm really excited. It's kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel.
I mean, and we keep seeing news of places opening up each week. It really shows, I've said it a million times, I'll keep saying it, vaccines are the key to getting life back to normal, right? So when it is your turn to get vaccinated, go get vaccinated.
Absolutely. And based on, a question I saw here is, we're going to have to wait and see. There was a question if you could actually go to Hong Kong or Tokyo through Thailand. That is going to depend on each individual country. Like Malta has that right now. We talked about it on our little COVID sheet here. Malta has that, but it's going to be up to each individual country. Like in the EU, you're seeing countries like Greece split apart and kind of do one thing. And I think we'll see that going forward.
Right. So it's a volatile situation, but I think it's a good kind of volatile, right? It's exciting. But it's like some of these places are just dying to get people, I shouldn't say dying. They're excited to get people back into the country. And some of these places, tourism is key, which we will get to tourism being a key in just a little bit. So that's excited. We're going to keep bringing you guys news on stuff that's opening up. But we also do want to mention some other exciting news. Virgin Voyages has announced the name of the third ship, the Resilient Lady, with a 2022 launch. And this is what I'm super excited about. I literally have goosebumps talking about this. She is going to be sailing from Athens, doing 7-night itineraries. So the name of the 2 itineraries are Greek Island Glow, which overnights in Mykonos. I know. And then the Adriatic Sea and Greek Gems is the 2nd itinerary. And that also has an overnight. I think it's in Dubrovnik. I'm pretty sure that's what that one was. So, I mean, Virgin Voyages is coming on strong. I think starting in Athens is going to, and doing 7-night sailings is going to appeal to someone who just can't commit to 2 weeks in Europe. But some of those 10, 12-night itineraries, by the time you fly over there, that's a day, then a day or two you're there for 2 weeks. And that, it worked for me. I mean, I want to be gone for a month. I know you do too, Haley. But for some people, that 7-night is going to be great. So overnighting in Mykonos, I mean, I'm excited.
I do think that is something Virgin has really changed. Now I know that, you know, they got some bad pumps based on some of the ship designs like the Poole and stuff like that, but you know, it all depends on how you cruise. And I think them coming on strong with the itineraries that they're putting together, like you can do the Western Med on Valiant Lady and overnight in Ibiza.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
Like other cruise lines, you know, that's not something that you hear a lot of. And I mean, you and I love dancing and, you know, hanging out on a cruise nightclub style. Overnights in Ibiza and Mykonos, I mean,
you know, and there's some people who are like, well, I want a longer itinerary. Well, great. Do a back-to-back on the Resilient Lady, right? So you get the Adriatic Sea, and then the next week you get more of the Greek gems. Like, I think I am really, really excited. The only negative to Virgin Voyages for some people, some of my clients, are I want to bring my kids. For those of you who don't know, Virgin Voyages is adults only. So I'm excited about that. So I cannot wait. Slight tease, guys. Stay tuned for some Virgin Voyage group cruise information coming very soon.
Very, very soon.
Very soon. So stay tuned for that. I think 2022 is going to be a Virgin year. So stay tuned. I am so excited.
I'm so excited for that. And if you guys want to learn a little bit more of Virgin, what the overview is, because there are some quirks, there's some different things. Like there's no alcohol packages, the rooms that aren't suites are convertible. I did a broadcast last night, but I actually have a full write-up on my blog, which is all in my bio, guys, of all the different quirks. They have different terminology because they're not trying to cater towards the average cruiser. Like there's a lot of nuances with this line. So make sure you guys read up on that.
Yeah, so no, it's great. I watched some of your broadcast last night, and it was fantastic. So, yeah, stay tuned. Information coming very, very soon. All right. So we had talked about, how some places are very reliant on tourism to survive. Well, there are some places that are starting to question the effects of tourism on the local population. Hawaii is one of these places. So in 2019, almost 10.5 million people visited Hawaii. I mean, Haley, we were two of those people, right? So,
but Jarvis wasn't, though.
No, he went to Canada, didn't he? Wasn't that to Canada? So as Hawaii starts to open things up again, there are a lot of people who were starting to question if where they were is sustainable. So over travel density of people it's a problem, right? So there are kind of 3 camps in Hawaii. There's the first camp that has said we need to do major reforms, such as public parks need to be reservations only, limit the number of new hotel buildings and hotel construction that can be built, limit the amount of flight availability into Hawaii. And this goes to all places that are dealing with this. There's another group of people that are like, wait a minute, guys, it's working. We're making a lot of money. Why take away the hand that feeds you? And then I think most likely what's going to happen is the third group of people, kind of the compromise. It is we need tourists, but maybe we don't need 10.5 million tourists in a year on our little bitty island. What do you think? Where do you come down, Haley? Which of those three camps do you fall?
So I would actually tend probably towards the middle, but more towards the cautious side. So there's other areas like Venice is another big area where we talk about over tourism.
Yep.
Hawaii, I think even more so, is kind of the shining beacon of change needing to happen. Because when it comes to Hawaii, I think people need to remember the history that goes along with it of how Hawaii was acquired. And, I got into some temporary hot water and ended up turning this into an educational purpose with a few other local Native Hawaiians, is that the culture is sold to the tourist, but that doesn't come back into the local community. So you have very big, rich firms that are going and buying up a bunch of land in Hawaii, displacing locals and natives. And the over tourism is just creating this real big, hot mess of what's going on. And especially in a state like Hawaii, a destination like that is very nature, forward. Like that's why people go there, to see these beautiful beaches, mountains, volcanoes, etc. If you have that over tourism factor going into place, it's going to start wearing away, damaging things. So I think some reform does need to happen in that respect. And I think a lot of these places need to do a better job of also listening to their locals. Because, if you're going to aggravate your locals when you have tourists coming in, they're going to think they're being jerks. Like there's a lot of Native Hawaiian groups that are very hot about this subject. And I think some reform needs to happen, because there's a lot of people that practice irresponsible tourism, unfortunately, like those people that go to Santorini and stand on the roofs of the churches for that Instagram photo. Like you can't be doing stuff like that. If it says do not enter, you don't enter. You need to respect the place of where you're going. And that doesn't even just come down to COVID protocols. That is respect the culture, respect the people, respect the land.
I agree. So, I'm all in favor of reforms. And if that means limiting the number of people, that's fine. We've seen this happen in Key West. So Key West said there were too many people coming to this part of Florida. So they passed a local ordinance limiting the sizes of cruise ships that can go to Key West. So I've been to Key West numerous times on the Celebrity Equinox. And I think the reflection, well, those ships are now too big to go to Key West.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And let's be honest. The reason I do a lot of shoulder season travel, especially in Europe, I've been to Paris, I've been to Rome, is because I've also seen what peak season looks like there. And I don't want to be in those places elbow to elbow with people. Like that's not enjoyable.
As someone who went to Rome, I think I landed in Rome on June 25th or 26th last time. It was pretty insane. It was pretty bonkers. So I totally am okay with places limiting, but a place like Hawaii survives on tourism, right? The locals who want to eliminate tourism, that's not practical. It's not feasible. It's not going to happen. But I'm okay with places like Key West saying, hey, no cruise ships, but if you want to come, you can fly here or rent a car. We're trying to limit the number of people who are coming.
Absolutely. So, it needs to be spread out. It's wear and tear on a lot of things. You and I even commented, when you went to Rome was very different when I was doing live videos in Rome. We were like, where are all the people?
Where are the people?
But that's also a big benefit to doing shoulder season, is you still get that beautiful weather.
Yes.
You get a deal though, and you get to go to beautiful places.
You do. I had to pick that for a reason, which, I had a great time. That was great. So slight update on Alaska. I know we spent a lot of time talking about Alaska last week's, but just a quick update. The two Alaskan senators and the member of the House have introduced dual legislation in both the House and the U.S. Senate called the Alaska Tourism Recovery Act. So basically, it just hopes to temporarily relieve the restrictions of the Passenger Vessel Service Act, which requires a visit to a foreign country when doing a closed loop cruise out of the United States. So stay tuned for that. I wouldn't be surprised if it passes. I mean, there's not a lot of partisan bickering on if we need to visit Vancouver to an Alaskan cruise. So I would assume it could pass. But we'll keep you updated on that. But people are thinking, hey, what if I want to do Alaska right now, right? So I thought this was really cool. Holland America and Princess Cruises are introducing Alaskan land packages for this year. I think this is super fantastic and super cool. As you guys may or may not know, Princess is the leader in Alaskan travel. They have the cabin set up. They have like Princess hires tour guide that they work for Princess Cruises. Like Princess owns the Alaskan cruise market. I mean, they don't own it. They are number one every year. I mean, you've done a Princess Alaskan cruise, right? Yeah.
I sure have.
Yeah, and Holland America is their sister company, so they work together. Holland America does a very similar job with Alaska. They do just a great job. So the options in the summer, you have 3 options. You have an escorted and explorer tours, which is what Princess is known for. Are their escorted tours, the cabins, the fireside chats at night. So other cruise lines just put you in a hotel. You say there, the night's over, you wake up in the morning and you get in a bus, you might have a different tour guide. But the way Princess does it, they have like fireside chats at night at the cabins. And they talk about, let's discuss what we saw today and let's prepare you for tomorrow, which I just think is a super cool way to see Alaska. So they're still doing that. They're doing Denali rail tours. Or if you are more of a self-explorer kind of person, they're still doing hotel only and sightseeing. So what do you think, Haley? Would you do one of these Alaskan land packages?
So I've done one. I was very blessed to have done the 7-night cruise and 7-day land package back in the day. And as much as I am an off the beaten trail kind of girl, Princess does a fabulous job with their land packages. I will tell you right now, if anybody is here watching, please go look at their lodge on the Kenai Peninsula.
Right.
Oh my God. The water there is unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. Like it's this greenish turquoise, like it's so unique, so beautiful. I went kayaking there. I mean, they, like you said, Jason, they do such a fantastic job. It's guided. It's not just like, oh, here's your hotel,
Right.
We'll do whatever. We'll pick you up in the morning. Those trains are beautiful because you're sitting in the top and they're complete glass top. They are stunning. You will not be disappointed that you're not on a cruise, honestly, because it's a different experience and it's a more in-depth experience. Yes, sailing up and seeing Glacier Bay is beautiful and mesmerizing, but I mean, you can literally start in the Kenai Peninsula, end up in Fairbanks, and do a hot air balloon tour with Princess and see the Northern Lights.
That's amazing. Yes. When we hang up, I might be looking at some Alaskan land packages. Let's go. I'll meet you in Juneau.
I'll meet you there. I've got enough points to travel right now. They're burning a hole in my pocket.
So if you want more information on Alaskan and land packages, Haley has done it a bunch. She can give you lots of firsthand experience. If you're ready to book it, give me a call. We can get you set up. So the last bit of news I wanted to discuss was a little bit of good news out of Europe. So MSC Cruises currently has the MSC Grandiosa doing Mediterranean cruises in Europe, like right now, which makes me so jealous as an American. I want to go. But the good news is, starting in May, they're adding a second ship, MSC Seaside, to the Mediterranean itinerary or schedule. So this makes me super optimistic that the return to normalcy is right around the corner. Fingers crossed. So yeah, I mean that's a great sign that MSC is doing it. They're making it work. I mean, is life totally back to normal on MSC cruises? No, it's not. But is it slowly getting back to normal? Yeah. So,
Absolutely. So I'm really excited by this. And shout out to Janine. Thanks for the award. I'm really excited about this. I'm sad at the same time because I was supposed to be on the Grandiosa in like 2.5 weeks doing Western Med.
yep, yep,
But I think it's a step in the right direction. Like, I think them expanding to another ship means their protocols are working. They've been
right.
able to contain it. It's kind of, I think, like a good test project that I truly think the CDC is just kind of keeping an
I
eye
agree.
on.
So they still had some sailings even like last summer in Europe on the Grandiosa, and they kind of did half capacity. And the MSC has not had any significant outbreaks on their ships. So whatever they're doing, it appears to be working. So
Absolutely. And I think it's so great. And I think all cruise lines are going to have to be like this too. They have to be strict and firm. Like MSC, remember it made the news during the summer. This family, you can only get off in a port with a scheduled
oh,
MSC tour. And
right.
this family went off on their own and they weren't allowed back on board.
MSC said goodbye.
Bye. See,
Yeah, no, look, look, if you want to travel during a global pandemic, you have to follow rules. If you don't want to follow the rules, then stay home. If you don't want to wear a mask, stay home. Right?
Yeah. I
And
know
I
that
think
a lot of people on social media too, they'll be like, oh, you shouldn't be traveling in general. That's trash. There's lots of doctors that have come forward
you know what,
saying with the protocols that are put in place.
save that. Save that. That's the question of the day at the end. Save that.
I know, sorry.
Sorry, save
I'm
that.
really impassioned on it because I mean, like,
Save it.
both of our jobs actually lie on this industry. I'm really passionate on that. But it's like you said, and we said it last week. If you want to travel, follow the rules. It's plain and
I agree.
simple.
So let's take a quick look at the current list of countries that Americans can travel to. We're not going to go over all this again. We know most of it.
There hasn't been changes, but before
Right.
we have that, Jason, just a quick little lineup here. Here's the current major cruise line
that's right. Yep.
cancel dates. So the newest one today was Celebrity and Royal through June 2021. I think we all kind of expected it.
Yeah, so the Royal Caribbean Celebrity announcement came today, so all sailings through May 31st have been canceled. So, yes, for those of my clients that are watching, I'm not ignoring your text on purpose. I know they've canceled. I'm just busy doing our TV show.
And he has a very busy day after this.
Very busy day after this. So I promise I will get to you. So there's a list of countries. It's the same as before. We kind of went in more details on it last week, but we wanted to keep you guys updated on any, if there's been any significant changes, we will, of course, let you know.
And I will be posting this slide later today in the todayintravel.live Facebook group.
Excellent. So we want to bring you guys travel hacks every week. And this one's kind of silly, kind of not stupid, but I felt stupid when a flight attendant told me about this hack years ago.
I am a big fan of this. Maximizing your space. Stuff your shoes.
I know. I can't believe I didn't do this for years. For years, I just threw my shoes in my suitcase.
Well, I mean, if you think about that, is it's an actually really good spot. If you get one of those foam roll-ups, ladies, if you have jewelry and you lay out the necklace and the piece of foam and roll that up, like stick it in the shoe. If you don't have an actual jewelry carrier, it's a good way to not lose your jewelry that you want to travel with, like your little necklaces, things like this.
I'm a big fan of that. So we'll keep bringing you silly little travel hacks. And if you have a travel hack, please post it in our Facebook group at todayintravel.live. Post it in there.
Yep, it'll take you right there if you throw that in your browser.
Yep.
Jason, I am so excited about our question of the day.
The question of the day. This is one of the most hotly. If you guys think cruise versus land resort is heated, oh no. 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 The question of the day, Airbnb or hotel. People get passionate about this. I'll give you my thoughts.
Jason, you go first. You guys let us know in the comments section while we debate this, your thoughts, because it's a hot debate.
It is a hot debate. Okay, so I will say personally, I'm a hotel guy. I like a hotel. I like knowing there's a standard in place from a Hyatt, a Hilton, a Marriott. Like I know there's a standard in place. I know if there's a problem, it's easily fixed, and they can often move you to a different room. I've even moved to a different property before, sister property in the same city. Okay. I enjoy the amenities of a hotel. A restaurant, a spa, a bar, a pool. So I like a hotel. Now, do I understand that Airbnbs have a place in the world? Sure, right? If you're doing an extended stay, I can understand. I can make the case for an Airbnb, right? Or if you're going to do a large family, I can understand doing an Airbnb to minimize cost of getting multiple hotel rooms. I just personally don't want to see a kitchen on my vacation. That's just I don't want to have to go get groceries and whatnot on a trip. So that's my thought. You, Haley, are the hotel queen. Okay. You know the hotel industry better than anybody I know. What say you? But you stayed at Airbnbs too.
Yes, I have. So I'm
Okay.
not being completely biased on this one.
Yep.
Like you, I am very much a majority of the time team hotel. I like the sanitation guidelines that are in place. Now, don't get me wrong. Are there some like seedy hotels out there? There sure is. But I like that if I have an issue, there's somebody on property 24/7. Like, oh, my tub's not draining. Because let's be honest, guys, things happen. Especially if somebody like me stayed in that room before and has a ton of hair and probably clogged the drain. I like that. And I also, this is so silly, but I love having my bed made for me. There's something about getting into those nicely, tightly tucked sheets at night that it makes me so happy. And plus, I like earning points, especially being Hilton Gold, Marriott Gold.
That's a good point. Yep.
Those additional offers because I usually get an upgrade. I get a points bonus, which lets me travel more. However, when it comes to the Airbnb side, I just don't like the lack of guidelines. Like the sanitation guidelines aren't streamlined because there's individual owners. It is nice in places like Europe, though, because that's where I've done it. Because in these old areas in Europe, there's not necessarily hotels always in the spots where you want to be.
Yes.
Or they're very limited. Like when my family and I spent a week on the Amalfi Coast in Positano in our little 2-week Italy venture 2 years ago, it made more sense to get an Airbnb because there were 7 of us. But at the same time, the kind of annoying part of that is that because there were 7 of us, we were constantly running out of like paper towels, toilet paper.
Yeah.
You're like running to the store for those things. Beautiful spot. We had this huge, God, I think it was like at least 40 feet. This huge, beautiful villa-style deck overlooking.
Oh, I remember seeing your periscopes and Facebook Lives from your Airbnb in Rome, and it was lovely.
It was beautiful. But I think if it's me or myself and my husband, me and you and myself, my daughter, and I tend to lean a little bit more hotel because there's a little less that I have to worry about. Based on the comments section over here, we have a lot of team hotel.
Team hotel.
And somebody's like, I do enjoy cooking. And honestly, Luke, I did cooking in Positano because Positano is expensive. First off, even in the off season to eat out, which is great. And I don't mind that, but it all depends on the type of vacation you want to have. And I do think it's interesting that Marriott is starting to branch into vacation rentals.
Yeah, I mean, there's clearly a demand for it, right? I mean, most of my friends here in Nashville would probably say Airbnb, but they're much more of a let's just go out to the sticks of South Dakota, and rent a property, right? And I'm like, no, I want to be in Miami by a cruise ship or cruise terminal, right? So like I want to be in South Beach at, at the Hyatt. So yeah, it's a great question. So
Yeah,
um
I personally would just like to see a pinch more regulation on these
I agree.
vacation rentals because I think, some of the variables, like you're actually helping my mom book a VRBO, which Jason's able to do, guys, cough, cough.
Yeah, I can do it. I can do it.
He can help you with
I can
VRBO.
do it.
Is I want to see more guidelines, with sanitation and cleaning. I don't know if they branch into a service that they recommend and they partner with different local cleaning cleaning companies or something.
Right.
But I would also like to see more standards in the cleaning fees and the extra
I
fees that
agree.
are tacked on in those. I think there's just too much diversity in that.
I agree. So Sharon Thompson gave us a great question of the day
From her Facebook group.
from our Facebook group. And you kind of alluded to it earlier. So the question is, how safe do you feel traveling during a global pandemic when some states are going to lift their protocols?
Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Okay. So as someone so I've had my first vaccine shot. Okay. Second one's in a couple weeks. So soon I will be fully vaccinated. I already have some level of protection, but until that second shot, I'm kind of playing it, a little safer. I'm not going to go to Texas where they're fully open. So I think if you're concerned about traveling during a pandemic and states that are lifting protocols alarm you, I would avoid those locations. I would stick to locations that are kind of off the beaten path, or go travel to locations that are still taking the pandemic very seriously. So everybody has to measure their own risk totally for themselves, right? So I have friends who I have not seen in over a year because if they got COVID, they could very likely die. So they have not left at all. I am very healthy. I mean, actually, I caught COVID last year, and I was just felt like a bad cold. So everybody has to kind of measure for themselves. I'm not going to shame anybody for staying home. I'm not going to shame anybody for traveling.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the only time you can properly shame is when somebody is not following protocols. I will fully
That's fair.
shame somebody that's not doing that. But
Totally fair.
And I think it comes into, like you said, the comfortability. And another part of this is you need to keep in mind your travel partners. Like, a lot of people will try to poo-poo anybody that's traveling right now. But, if it was so bad, you would see massive outbreaks amongst flight attendants. Like that's,
Right.
one thing I discussed the, Delta's CEO talked about in that conference that I was at in September. You would see mass outbreaks happening amongst housekeepers and things of that nature. So you also need to pick travel partners that align with your comfortability and your goals. Like Hilton partnered with Lysol, the Mayo Clinic, and that brought a great peace of mind to their travelers. I'm personally not necessarily running to a place like, say, Texas or Florida, as much as it kills me. And I miss going to Florida. I miss going to Disney. I miss going to the Keys. I miss cruising. My second shot's tomorrow. And until I've kind of had that run through my system a bit, I won't go to those places. But, I think possibly end of April, beginning of May, I might go to Florida, but I'm still going to mask up. I think masks are here to stay, like we talked about last week, for a while. And that's my choice, my prerogative, sanitizer, masks. So I hope that
I
answers.
agree. Look, I can even see myself post-pandemic still wearing a mask on like airplanes or public transit.
Oh, absolutely. Now, keep in mind, guys, if you have questions, you can drop them here. If you have a more in-depth question, because we're going to be wrapping up this broadcast here, ask them in the group. Like we took Sharon's question this week. We threw it into this because we don't want this program being too long for you guys. Ask questions. Let us know if there's any topics you want us to cover this week. You can head to that Facebook group, todayintravel.live, and drop them there. Jason, do you have any closing remarks you want to send everybody off with?
I am good. Just the Facebook group is where we're having most engagement. Invite your friends, and I can't wait to see you guys at a resort or a cruise or in Europe, or especially Greece very soon.
Yes, guys, you get into that group. It's an interactive group. That group is not just about this particular broadcast. You know, if you
No,
get out traveling, use the hashtag Today in Travel so that we can track the broadcast. Throw it into the group so people can see it. Post your questions. Post your tips. Do you have tips about how
right.
to do Disney World better than other people? Post it in there. Like, this is a collaborative group. This is not just about Jason and I, as much as we are divas and queens about this, but it's very collaborative. But thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
Yes. All right. Well, Haley, until next week.
All right, sounds great. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.